welcome to this, and this is my review for Ring of Honor's Bound by Hate, which was their second show under Adam Pearce, and was the other show that took place during their last Canadian run. This was pretty groovy. It was also kind of interesting because Isba was proud and very out in front. He had pretty much front row seats right there by it was very hard to miss him. So that was kind of cool for us on here. So there was that. But this was again another entertaining night. Again, this was I thought this flowed very good as far as the show goes as compared to a lot of Ring of Honor shows, and was yeah, it was what it was. But let's get started. We started the night out with Jerry Lynn versus Davey Richards in a very good match, or a good match, I should say. You know, Lynn has looked a lot better than I thought he was going to look since he came in. He hasn't been in there with guys that I don't think he necessarily has had to carry, and that's probably helped. But he's looked really good since coming in, and I enjoyed this a lot. I'm not always a big Davey Richards guy, but he actually worked really well with Jerry Lynn, and this was pretty good as Richards played up the heel part. Heel just absolutely fantastic. So this was really good. 3 stars. Next we had Delirious Brodie Lee versus Kenny King and Rhett Titus. Kenny King and Rhett Titus were extremely entertaining together as a tag team, and Delirious and Brodie Lee were just kind of there. Of course, we got Delirious trying to get his hands on Rhett Titus, so I guess the Age of the Fall were kind of playing the faces, I guess. I don't know. That kind of confused me a little bit, but it was what it was. It was actually going along pretty good. It was a pretty okay match, almost a good match, and it ended in a way that made sense, but was still kind of where Delirious chased Rhett Titus out to the back and was counted out, because you now have countouts in Ring of Honor, which I do think is a good idea. This was the first time I think we saw it in the last card too, but this was just kind of there, and it was what it was for the most part. It was a good showing by King and Titus. Brodie Lee looked pretty good in this too. The ending just kind of hurt it, even though it did make sense. Which is good. You know, I'm okay with a screw job ending as long as it made sense, but you know, the match wasn't good enough for it to, you know, still be just an okay match. So, star and 3/4 there. Next, we got the awesomeness, in my opinion, that was Roderick Strong and Erick Stevens versus Go Shiozaki and Eddie Edwards. I shouldn't say awesomeness, but this was really good. Good tag team match. This was, of course, Roderick Strong and Erick Stevens' first time tagging up, and that was really groovy to see. And the fans were into it. Lots of just good tag team wrestling, just what I like to see, and the types of things that I really like to see, because I'm a big tag team marker, as most people know. But a really enjoyable match. Lots of sick moves, lots of stiff moves, as you would expect. Definitely fun to see. 3.5 there. Next we had Jimmy Jacobs and Austin Aries in a dog collar match. Well, Jimmy Jacobs. This told a pretty good story. Jimmy Jacobs, basically, when he was supposed to be getting the dog collar on, rushed Austin Aries, wouldn't put the collar on for about, I would say, a good quarter to a half of the match, which got kind of old, kind of quick, because you're like, you just put the freaking collar on him. But once the collar was on him, ooh, then he got good. And Jimmy Jacobs bleeds like no man I have ever seen before, which was groovy too. This was a good, just great brawl with some good spots, some good uses of the chain. just a lot of fun to watch. A good start to their nice little mini 3-match feud here. And as again, Jimmy Jacobs bleeds like no man I have ever seen. It is an amazing, amazing sight often. Next, we got Grizzly Redwood versus Alex Payne. This didn't get much time, didn't have a lot of heat, was just kind of there. Though the fans did eventually get into Grizzly, but be interesting to see if they did this match now. But 1.5. It was a squash and was just kind of there. Next we got Bryan Danielson versus Tyler Black versus Kenny Omega. This match, believe it or not, focused a lot on Kenny Omega and not so much on Bryan Danielson, who was kind of there just being awesome Bryan Danielson. Tyler Black was there being Tyler Black and kind of trying to convince Kenny Omega they needed to team up to take on Bryan Danielson. Kenny Omega at first was like, no way. This had a lot of fun spots in it, had a lot of cool spots in it. This was definitely kind of a showcase match for Kenny Omega, and it was really good, had lots of good spots. The ending is just, you have to see the ending of this, because Kenny Omega takes a shot from Bryan Danielson that is just insane. It's just a very, very fun, very, very good match. 3 3/4 stars. Just a lot of freaking fun. Then we got the world title match of the night, which was Nigel McGuinness versus Necro Butcher. They had set this up that Necro Butcher had hurt his knee the night before. Nigel then came out and said he wouldn't go after his knee if Necro wouldn't punch Nigel's eye. We can all kind of see how that went. Given that Necro's knee was hurt, there wasn't a lot they could do, but the match was going along okay up until that point, and then the Age of the Fall came out, attacked Necro just as it looked like Necro might actually win the title. Again, it made sense. It wasn't the main event, so I can kind of, even though it was a world title match, I can kind of forgive them for that, but it's still not what you want to see in a world title match. But it wasn't horrible by any stretch of the imagination, but it was just kind of there, a star and 3/4. Then we had Kevin Steen and El Generico versus the Briscoe Brothers for the tag team titles. This was awesome. As you would expect, 4 stars. Lots of just it wasn't as good as probably a lot of their stuff was before, but it was still great. I don't know if they can not have a great match. Well, I take that back. We'll probably see one on a pay-per-view this stuff, but that's mainly because somebody's hurt. And anyways, I won't spoil it. But a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Lots of just great tag team wrestling, and as I said before on this review, I am a big sucker for tag team wrestling, so that was good to see. Overall, I really enjoyed this DVD. Again, I do think the shows have flowed a lot better since Pierce took over, though we will see, because the next show that I'm going to review is not supposed to be too grand or spectacular, though it does have a special match, which is supposed to be grand and spectacular, so we will see. Giving this an 8.5 simply because even though it does have some bad stuff on it, I shouldn't say bad, but it has some stuff that's just kind of it does have a lot of great stuff on it, and most of the stuff on it is very good. So there you go. Have a good one. I am out. Later.